Everybody out back in the back. Everybody out back.
Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis are preparing for their fight week in the most heated way, as they had a live confrontation a few hours ago.
There we go. All right.
It was brutal and fiery as they exchanged words in a devastating fashion.
You don't like body shots. You don't like body shots.
It's a few days to the big day, as one of the biggest boxing names of boxing, Gervonta "Tank" Davis makes his return to the ring for the first time in 14 months. And considering the kind of personality Gervonta Davis is, you don't expect such a return to be without some sort of controversy, and now he's at it again with Frank Martin. For those who missed out on their press conference as we get into fight week, boxing fans should expect insane actions, insults, face-offs, and confrontations.
I want to prove to you, I want to prove to the niggas that you can't. I want to prove to the niggas back home.
In some way, it is kicked off already after Errol Spence Jr., who happens to be Frank Martin's promoter, predicted the fight in favor of the fighter he signed 4 years ago. And not only that, Errol Spence Jr. had also claimed Frank Martin would dominate Gervonta Davis during the fight. Ahead of the June 15th bout, Errol Spence Jr. offered his thoughts on the fight, saying, "Tank's going to put up a fight. He's a great fighter, but I feel like Frank's definitely going to take it," said Spence when speaking to Fight Hub TV. Talking about the ability of Martin, Spence said,
"And hope for a knockout. I feel like Frank gonna dominate him first through 12th round and win a fight. I mean, Tank gonna put up a fight. You know, he's a great fighter, but I feel like
he's going to see the speed, he's going to see the strength, he's going to see the power that Frank brings." Once Gervonta Davis chanced on Errol Spence's video, he tagged it on X, formerly Twitter, and added the caption, "Get your money, champ." However, not too long afterwards, he made an even better comeback saying, "You say you're tough, now you gotta show me." If there's one thing Gervonta Davis is trying to prove to many boxing fans, it's the fact that he's the same person with that devastating knockout power dreaded all through the lightweight division. He is willing to sit in the pocket and trade and carries impressive power. He lets his hands go at speed, putting his punches together well. Davis is as versatile as they come in terms of fighting style. He's a phenomenal counterpuncher and will look to exploit the slow offensive movement from his opponent. Tank has shown he carries that knockout power to end a fight with one punch. The Baltimore native will be eager to enhance his reputation, while Martin will look to cause a shock and move on to other big fights. As we get into the fight week, more of this is set to come. But what's even more shocking is that both fighters have begun their back and forth ahead of time, as they had a brief live session on Instagram not too long ago.
That was Pitbull. What you gonna do to make sure that don't happen to you?
You know, you gotta be woke. That's one thing, when you're in there with Tank, you gotta be woke. You know what I mean? A lot of them be in there with him and fall asleep. Boom. You get their ass up out of there. You gotta be woke. You gotta be aware.
You would ask what sparked their confrontation. Expectedly, it was Gervonta Davis's tweets after Errol Spence's comments that sparked Frank Martin's response. In a now deleted tweet, Gervonta Davis called out Frank Martin and then jumped on an Instagram live session, which Frank Martin soon joined, and that was where the heat began.
They know what you don't know. They know what you don't know. You from the suburbs. They know what you don't know. You is trash.
Their altercation wasn't so long, but every word was damaging. Frank Martin began by questioning why Gervonta Davis had called him, and Tank began firing. He promised Martin a brutal beating that'd require the intervention of Errol Spence, and went ahead to promise he'd whoop Errol Spence as well.
All right. Face forward.
And Gervonta "Tank" Davis.
Frank Martin, in his usual fashion, kept repeating the same words to Tank Davis. "You're a dumbhead, I'll punish you. You're a dumbhead, I'll punish you." Gervonta Davis then ended the call with a word for Derek James: "Tell your trainer to quit." Interestingly, this isn't the first time Gervonta Davis will be trolling Derek James, as he had earlier done the same in the press conference.
Come on, the trainer is coming for a check. I'm telling you that now. Okay. Yeah, that trainer that's next on coming for a check. Okay. He know what type of,
I'm definitely looking forward to all around the board just being back in the ring, Davis said. I've been off for a long time. I've been in jail. I've been under house arrest and things like that. I'm just happy to be back here where I'm comfortable. I could be flawless and do what I do best, and that's give you fans the best boxing you've seen to date. Come June 15th, I ain't ready with a load of talk. Martin's a front runner. They think they are thugs and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, it's a different beast in front of him. It's a different beast. Nobody is going to be able to save him on June 15th, and it's a lot of stuff built up. It's a lot built up, and I'm gonna take it out on him. I'll see you all June 15th. Davis's profile as one of the world's highest profile fighters owes much to his former association with Floyd Mayweather Jr. He was present at the MGM the night in 2012 when Mayweather outpointed Miguel Cotto and is relishing the prospect of being the lead attraction at one of the most celebrated fight venues in the world. I'm just happy to be back in the mix and happy to fight at the MGM, he said. This will probably be my second time fighting here, but I remember coming to watch Floyd versus Cotto, and I walked through the front door and I saw all the celebrities and things like that, mink coats on and things like that. I always wanted to be a part of something like this, so I'm just grateful to be in this position and also to be on this card with another young lion like myself and to give the fans what they want to see. Since Davis Garcia, which proved the biggest fight of 2023, Martin, who trains alongside Garcia at Derek James's Texas-based gym, has recorded a decision victory over Artem Harutyunyan. It's a blessing just to be here, said the challenger Martin, also 29. It's a blessing just to get this type of opportunity to come here and show the world what I'm about. I've got to say hats off. I appreciate Gervonta Davis for even taking the fight. I believe they messed up by taking the fight, but I do appreciate them giving me this opportunity to show the world what I'm about. I'm ready to go out and shock the world and do what I do what people think I can't do. It means everything to fight for a world title. I've been working for it. I've been the underdog in this since I started, from the beginning. I've been watching everything. I know how his nonsense walks. I'm gonna touch his butt up. I know how he and his whole team walk. Talking about the fight and his fighter, Derek James also spoke very highly of the match. We have Frank Martin working out. Things have been said about the potential fight. It's a big deal, yeah, and he's going to shock the world. Talking about his fighter some time ago, James believed the 27-year-old Martin can compete with any lightweight in boxing. He still wouldn't mind his fighter taking more time to develop before he faces the most imposing opponents in the 135-pound division.
Like, get more experience, right? Because you can't go back. It's like a lot, like you get Michelle Rivera, right?
I think that he can do that, James said. But I think at the same time, time is our friend. You know what I mean? I mean, it's easy to not acknowledge him because it's okay, because it's only helping him, because he's just getting better and better and better. So when the time is when they say, okay, now we'll have the fight, he's more difficult. Because he's difficult now, but we're in the gym all the time. It just helps him get better and better and better, and that's what it's all about. But interestingly, the fighter Frank Martin is facing is no slouch. He's one of the very best in the whole of boxing. Davis made his debut at the age of 18 on February 22nd, 2013 against Desi Williams, who had a professional record of 0 wins and 4 losses, all by stoppage.
You'll be world champion someday, and I'll be your promoter. Years later, he was working with some people from our team because our team is huge.
The fight took place at the DC Armory in Washington on the undercard of the IBF junior welterweight fight between Lamont Peterson and Kendall Holt. Davis won the bout via first-round knockout. By August 2014, Davis had recorded 8 wins and no losses, with all wins coming inside the distance. Davis took the 6-round distance for the first time in October 2014 against veteran 28-year-old German Miraz.
We got guys in DC, Baltimore, Philly, New York, all around. He won a few fights. I think he was like 8 or 9-0.
Davis knocked Miraz down in rounds 3 and 5 and went on to win a unanimous decision, with all 3 judges scoring the bout 60-52. Gervonta Davis will be returning to the ring in a few days, and nothing can be more exciting. But there's a fear that it'll only get more controversial considering how things have been with him lately. While supporters would be thrilled at the thought of once again watching the undefeated world champion fight again, his recent controversies are raising eyebrows as to what exactly Gervonta Davis had become during his time out of the ring. Many fans have claimed his stint in jail tampered with his personality, as that the boxing world can do nothing but adapt to the excesses of Tank. In the aftermath of his biggest victory, Davis was sentenced to 90 days of home detention at the home of his trainer, Calvin Ford, after he pleaded guilty to 4 counts stemming from a crash in November 2020 that injured 4 people, including a pregnant woman.
Say that about everybody. You ain't fun about like me. That's the thing. That's the thing. You ain't fun about like me. That's the prize.
He then served 44 days at a detention center after a judge ruled on June 1st that he violated the terms of his house arrest by moving to a luxury hotel and then a new home. Less than 2 weeks after defeating Garcia, Davis was also sentenced to 3 years probation and 200 hours of community service. And when he showed up in the press conference against Frank Martin, he promised his June 15th opponent that he was now a different beast, speaking about his jail term and period of house arrest. Well, it turns out that Frank Martin won't be the only one seeing this new beast, as he's been unleashed at the entire boxing world, having severe altercations with Floyd Mayweather, Claressa Shields, and Devin Haney.
Say that about everybody. You ain't fun about like me. That's the thing. That's the thing. You ain't fun about like me. That's the prize.
Everybody down here. Down here.
But while preparations for the June 15th double title fight date are underway, Gervonta Davis has unleashed his beast mode again, taking his feud with an old enemy from mere social media to a physical confrontation. Well, what many fans have to say about this is that for the past 5 years, Devin had been after Gervonta Davis, hoping to fix a match between the both of them. However, Tank didn't show up all along. But once Devin Haney got his first loss against an obvious and overweight cheat, Tank had come at both him and his father on X countlessly. Once the fight was over, Gervonta Davis was quick to re-emphasize his dominance in boxing and make some mockery of both Devin Haney and his father. He also took to X saying, "Forget Devin, where Bill at, where Dirt at?" And on a different tweet he wrote, "I'm still coming out to get guys, it's not over. These guys gotta see me." But no one thought it'd really get to the next level until now. Gervonta Davis escalated his feud with Devin Haney, and the two boxers came very close to blows outside of a nightclub in Las Vegas. Davis and Haney's feud began several years ago since they met in a sparring session, but it has re-intensified after Tank jumped onto social media to mock the Dream after his upset defeat to Ryan Garcia. Davis and Haney have traded blows online in recent weeks, ever since Haney's defeat in his bout with Ryan Garcia. But the latest development in their feud has taken it from a simmer to a boil, running the risk of a physical altercation. The 29-year-old decided to escalate their rivalry on a personal level by pulling up and taking a picture with Haney's luxury Mercedes-Benz G63 and posting it on his social media. A video has since emerged of Haney clearly finding out about his move, and the pair have been going at it in a furious confrontation in the street. The pair were separated by their teams as they shouted inaudible insults at each other, with people around them also being dragged into the angry confrontation. Haney was clearly taking aim at Davis, and it has certainly set up a future showdown if the pair choose to settle their rivalry in the boxing ring. Footage had previously emerged, which appeared to show Davis embroiled in a separate argument with Haney, although the latter isn't entirely visible. It is clear that the fiery altercation had originated from the picture, which Davis posted with the caption, "Aha, can't stop stuff and we're on their side." He then tweeted, "Tell them how I made you and your team dip out and I'm on your side of town. That guy's a cold fool." Haney then responded by confirming it was his car and hitting back, "This guy liked my car so much, he took a picture next to it. Send him one at the rate champion motoring." But later, phone camera footage appears to show Davis and Haney outside a club, shouting at one another amidst the commotion outdoors. Gervonta Tank Davis has even jumped to Garcia's surprise defense after it emerged King Rai had failed 2 tests on the day before and of their crunch clash. He said, "Look at Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, then look at my fight versus Ryan." If Ryan looked any different, he probably looked worse versus Haney. Bigger, much slower. He only hit him with the same punch I told everybody, a hook, a hook, a hook. Devin was sitting right there to be caught with the hook. And they were talking about this guy pound for pound. Come on, he's trash, he's trash. This came not too long after Gervonta Davis had shockingly supported Ryan Garcia amidst his doping allegations. In response to the unfolding controversy surrounding Ryan Garcia's alleged doping violation, fellow boxer Gervonta Davis came out swinging, expressing his support for Garcia and calling for repercussions against promoter Eddie Hearn.
Bro, go look at Ryan fight and go look at Ryan versus Devin and go look at my fight versus versus Ryan. And you can tell that Ryan
Davis took to social media to voice his outrage at the attempts to discredit Garcia's recent victory over Devin Haney, bluntly stating they are doing anything to take away the win from Ryan. In a show of solidarity with his fellow boxer, Davis condemned what he perceives as a concerted effort to undermine Garcia's achievements in the ring.
He look no different. If he looked any different, he probably looked worse. He just was a bigger person, much slower.
However, Davis didn't stop there. In a scathing rebuke directed at promoter Eddie Hearn, Davis minced no words, calling for drastic action in response to the controversy. If that's the case, banned Eddie Hearn's silver poon head, Davis exclaimed, suggesting that Hearn should face consequences if the allegations against Garcia are indeed proven false. However, that didn't stop Devin Haney from acknowledging Tank Davis when asked to predict the fight between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. In a recent interview with Devin Haney, he expressed his doubts on Frank's ability to upset Tank Davis in the concerning fight, despite the claims from Frank on knocking Davis. Haney revealed that he expected Tank Davis to give Frank Martin a beating when they met in the ring in June. In an interview, Haney said, "I think Tank beats him. We haven't seen Frank Martin at the highest level at the elite level. We just haven't seen each other." Martin had a massive problem in his last fight against fringe contender Artem Harutyunyan last July, as he squeaked out a 12-round decision victory in a contest that he had been losing through the first 8 rounds. From that performance, it was clear that Martin wasn't ready for elite-level competition. In another statement, Haney said, "Do I think Martin is going to go in there and lay down? No. I think he'll go in there and try to get his respect and he will fight back. But I think Tank has the experience and skills and will be victorious." From the previous fights that Martin had participated in, it was clear that he was over-muscled and emphasized too much on weight training in most of his fight preparations.
Harutyunyan. Martin. Protect yourselves at all times.
His overreaction to the skills that Tank Davis used his training in the footage was an awakening call for Martin, as he seemed to have been implying the wrong methods for the preparation. It was clear that chances of him winning were very minimal, having in mind the fight would happen in only a few weeks to come. Haney explained that, "But will it be easy? I can't say. Do I think that Frank Martin will go in there and show that he's a contender? The answer is yes." And that's all for now. What are your thoughts and expectations concerning the coming fight week? Let's see them in the comment section. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.